You will find the link to AI generated portfolio review tool in the description and pinned in comments below. Layer 2 could be the difference between crypto that actually works in real life and crypto that stays stuck in the lab. Most people paying huge gas fees have no idea that a simple extra layer can make those transactions faster and far cheaper. What if I told you that one change can make your crypto transactions almost instant and dramatically cheaper, but one wrong move can lock your funds for days? By the end of this video, you will know exactly what layer 2 scaling solutions are, how they work, which types exist, and how to use them without blowing up your savings. Stay with me because I will also share a real story of a costly mistake and a simple checklist that can save you from doing the same thing. First, let us quickly preview what you are going to learn today. You will see the difference between layer 1 and layer 2 in simple language with no confusing jargon. You will learn about state channels, side chains, and roll-ups, the three big categories of layer 2 solutions. You will discover the hidden trade-offs between security, speed, and cost that most beginners completely overlook. You will hear about some real layer 2 networks like Arbitrum, Optimism, Sync, and Starknet that you will actually see in the wild, and you will get a simple beginner friendly checklist and safety rules so you can use layer 2 without getting wrecked. If you want clear crypto education without hype and without advanced jargon, consider subscribing now because we make videos that help beginners avoid expensive mistakes every single week. Now let us start with the most basic question. What exactly is a layer 2? To understand that, we need to talk about layer 1. Layer 1 is the base blockchain like Bitcoin and or Ethereum, where all transactions normally happen and where the main security and consensus live. Layer 1 is powerful and secure, but it is also limited in how many transactions it can process each second. When too many people use it at the same time, it gets congested, and fees, also called gas fees on Ethereum, can become painfully high. Layer 2 is an extra layer that sits on top of this base blockchain. It is designed to process lots of activities off the main chain and then settle the results back onto the main chain later. Think of layer 1 as a crowded highway where every car must drive through the same narrow path. Layer 2 is like building fast express lanes and side roads that take cars off the main highway, only report the final result back to the main road. By doing this, layer 2 can make transactions faster, cheaper, and more scalable while still relying on layer 1 for ultimate security. For you as a beginner, this means something very simple. Layer 2 can lower your fees and speed up your payments or trades, making crypto more practical for normal daily use. But you might be wondering, how do these extra lanes actually work without breaking the core security of the blockchain? To answer that, we need to look at the main types of layer 2 solutions and what makes each one different. There are three major families of layer 2 scaling solutions you will hear about again and again: state channels, side chains, and roll-ups. Let us start with state channels. State channels let two or more parties lock some funds on the main chain, then transact between themselves off-chain many times, and finally write just one final result back to the main chain. Imagine two friends opening a tab at a bar. Instead of paying for every single drink in cash, they keep a running list between them and only settle the bill once at the end of the night. That is what a state channel does with transactions. It is extremely fast and cheap because almost everything happens off the main chain. The downside is that it works best for situations where the same people transact a lot with each other and they need to be online to update and close the channel. Next, we have sidechains. A sidechain is a separate blockchain that runs in parallel to the main chain but is connected to it by a bridge. You can now You can move assets from the main chain to the side chain, use them there, and then bring them back. Side chains can be fast and offer low fees because they can use different tools or different validator sets than the main chain. However, their security depends on their own validators and bridge design, not directly on the main layer 1 network. This means that if a sidechain or its bridge is attacked or mismanaged, users can lose funds even if the main chain is still secure. Finally, we come to rollups, which are some of the most discussed layer 2 solutions today, especially on Ethereum. Rollups bundle or roll up many transactions together off-chain and then post a compressed summary of those transactions back to layer 1. By doing this, they use the security of layer 1 but spread the cost of that security across many transactions at once. There are two main types of rollups you will hear about: optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups, also called as ZK rollups. Optimistic rollups assume that transactions in the rollup are valid by default. They include a period of time called a challenge window when anyone can submit a fraud proof if they detect an invalid transaction. If fraud is proven, the invalid transaction can be rolled back. This model is simpler but usually requires waiting some time before withdrawals are fully confirmed back on layer 1. ZK rollups take a different approach. They generate cryptographic proofs that mathematically show the batched transactions are valid without revealing all the details in the same way. These proofs are verified on the main chain, which can allow faster finality and strong security guarantees. ZK rollups can be more complex to build, but they are considered a very powerful way to scale blockchains while preserving security. So now you know the three big categories, but how do you decide what is right for you as a beginner? To answer that, we need a simple way to compare them in terms you care about. Think of every layer 2 solution as a trade-off between three things: security, speed and cost. In general, you cannot absolutely maximize all three at the same time. Rollups, especially ZK rollups, aim to keep security high by inheriting it from the main layer 1 chain while lowering costs by batching many transactions together. They can be slightly more complex and might have some limitations or evolving tooling, but they focus strongly on safety and efficiency. Sidechains often focus on speed and low cost because they can use different rules and do not need to follow layer 1 constraints as closely. However, they depend on their own validators and security, which can be weaker than the main chain in some designs. State channels are extremely fast and cheap, but repeated transactions between a known group of users, but they are not a universal solution for every kind of activity. For you, the key idea is this: low fees alone do not guarantee safety. Choosing a layer 2 just because the fees are tiny without checking security and withdrawal conditions can be very risky. Many careful users prefer to keep their long-term holdings on layer 1 where security is strongest and only move funds they actively use for trading or dApps onto layer 2. This way they get the benefit of low fees and speed of active use while keeping their core funds in the safest place. Now that you understand the trade-offs, let us talk about a few specific layer 2 networks you are likely to actually encounter. On Ethereum, two of the most popular optimistic rollups are Arbitrum and Optimism. Arbitrum bundles many transactions and posts them to Ethereum, reducing fees for users compared to using Ethereum directly. It supports a wide range of decentralized applications and is known for its strong ecosystem and cost reductions. Because it is an optimistic rollup, there can be a delay for some withdrawals as the challenge window passes, depending on how you exit back to layer 1. Optimism is another major optimistic rollup for Ethereum. It also aims to lower fees and increase transaction throughput while inheriting security from Ethereum. Optimism has focused on building a strong developer ecosystem and infrastructure for applications. You will also hear about ZK rollup projects like ZigSync and Starknet. These networks use zero knowledge proofs to validate batches of transactions and then commit them to Ethereum. They aim to provide high security, fast confirmation of correctness, and significant fee savings by compressing data. The exact user experience on each network can differ. Some may have different token support, different bridges, or different time frames for moving back to layer 1. This is why beginners should not treat all layer 2s as identical. So how do you choose which layer 2 to actually use? Here is a simple 5-step checklist you can follow every time you consider moving funds. Step 1. Define your purpose. Are you trading frequently, using a specific application, or just sending a one-off payment? Your purpose will reduce how much speed you need and how long your funds will stay there. Step 2. Check the security model. Does this layer 2 rely directly on the main chain's security like many rollups, or does it depend on its own validator set like many side chains? Step 3. Confirm withdrawal time. How long will it take to bring your assets back to layer 1? Some optimistic rollups have challenge windows that can delay final withdrawals. Step 4. Verify token support. Make sure the tokens you care about are supported on that layer 2 and by the apps and exchanges you use. Step 5. Review the bridge user experience and fees. Use official or well-reviewed bridges and understand what you will pay and how long it takes. If a layer 2 fails any of these checks, do not move large amounts of money there. Always start with a very small test transfer to make sure everything works as expected. To see why this matters, let me tell you a story that illustrates the risk of skipping these steps. A trader found a sidechain with very low fees and fast transactions. Excited by the low cost, they bridged a large share of their funds there to chase a new token opportunity. The sidechain relied on a relatively small validator set and a bridge that was not as battle tested as Ethereum itself. Now, when governance issues and technical problems appeared, withdrawals from the sidechain were delayed. At the same time, the market for the token they held started crashing on mainnet exchanges because their funds were stuck on the sidechain and could not move back quickly enough. They could not sell in time. They ended up losing a large part of their positions due to price slippage while waiting for access. They were not hacked, but the choice of scaling solution and bridge trapped their liquidity. The lesson is clear. Never move all your money to a layer 2 or sidechain that you do not fully understand. Always test with a small amount and always have a clear, reliable exit path back to layer 1 before committing serious funds. Now let us turn that lesson into six simple rules you can follow every time you use layer 2. Rule number 1. Always start with a small test transaction to make sure the bridge, the wallet and the network work as expected. Rule number 2. Keep long-term and large holdings on layer 1 or in secure cold storage and only move the amount you need for active trading or DApp use. Rule number 3. Take a few minutes to learn exactly how the bridge and withdrawal process works for the layer 2 you are using. Rule number 4. Confirm that the exchanges and applications you use actually support deposits and withdrawals from that layer 2. Rule number 5. Know the timing. Be aware of any challenge windows, confirmation delays or maintenance periods that could slow down withdrawals. Rule number 6. Favor well audited, widely used layer 2 projects and official bridges over experimental or unknown alternatives. If you follow these rules, you can enjoy the benefits of lower fees and faster transactions without exposing yourself to unnecessary danger. So what is the best overall strategy for a beginner who wants to use layer 2 safely? In most cases, a simple and effective approach looks like this. Use a reputable rollup such as a major optimistic rollup like Arbitrum or Optimism, or a well-established ZK rollup like ZK Sync or Starknet for your active transactions. Keep your long-term investments and larger balances on a secure layer 1 or in cold storage. Only bridge the amount you are comfortable actively using, and always test the path back to layer 1 with a tiny amount first. This strategy balances lower fees and better speed with strong security and peace of mind. You do not need to chase the absolute lowest possible fee to succeed in crypto. You need reliable systems that let you move and protect your money when it really matters. If this video helped you understand layer 2 scaling solutions and made you feel more confident as a beginner, consider subscribing now. We make clear, simple crypto videos that focus on protecting your money and avoiding common beginner mistakes. And before you move any more funds around, make sure you watch our next video on advanced security practices. In that video, we will walk through the wallet settings, security habits, and extra checks that experienced users follow to keep their crypto safe. Click through to that now, because understanding security is just as important as understanding layer 2.